Hi, my name is Michael McNamee. I'm Senior Network Engineer at Secure Edge Networks. Today's topic of discussion is Wi-Fi calling in your wireless network. So for our topic today, the discussion is what is Wi-Fi calling, what are the concerns that we have with it, and then what benefits do we get by using it. So let's start off with what is it. Wi-Fi calling is the function or the feature enabled on our mobile phones that transitions a call or makes a decision to make a call not on the cellular network but on the Wi-Fi network. And that decision making is generally made based on the strength or health of the cellular connection versus the Wi-Fi connection. If the cellular connection is poor, the Wi-Fi connection is healthy and strong, the mobile phone will make the call over the Wi-Fi network rather than the cellular. This feature isn't enabled by default on the phones, it has to be manually enabled. But once the feature is enabled on the phones, that process is done automatically by the phone. The phone makes the decision on when that should happen. As with any new technology, we're going to have some concerns about the impact that it's going to have on our wireless networks. And specifically for Wi-Fi calling, we have some concerns, and I've listed out about 7 of them here. The first one is that most wireless LANs were not designed for the voice spec. Voice as a service it has very specific demands on a network. Things like latency, jitter, number of APs, signal level. If the network is not up to that spec, the calls are going to be hard to maintain. The quality is going to be very poor. That leads me to a second concern that we have is that a lot of the wireless LAN hardware and software in deployment wasn't designed for the voice spec. Specifically things like the small office, home office equipment that some enterprise or even small businesses use weren't developed or written to identify voice calls and to give them quality of service and prioritization. And in the long run, it's going to make it very difficult to maintain a optimal end user experience when doing Wi-Fi calling. Another concern that we have with Wi-Fi calling over the wireless network is bandwidth consumption. Now, most voice calls are only going to consume about 64 to 96 kilobits per second. So that's not much, but if you take that and multiply it across dozens, even hundreds or thousands of calls, that extra data consumption or bandwidth consumption might be something that wasn't accounted for when the network was originally designed or implemented. So it could have a negative or profound effect on the performance of the network. We also have concerns with who's going to take the call from the end user if that Wi-Fi calling function doesn't properly operate. The cellular operator obviously is going to blame the wireless LAN operator. The wireless LAN operator is going to blame the cellular operator. So the blame game continues and the end user doesn't get any help with resolving their issue. 911 services are another concern with Wi-Fi calling over wireless networks. The default behavior of a 911 call made on a cell phone is for the cell phone to default to the cellular network for that 911 call. If the cellular network is not there and it has to go over Wi-Fi calling, 911 services sees the registered address of the phone. Typically that's somebody's home or business address, but if they're at somewhere different than that home or business, it's going to be very difficult for 911 to know where to send the emergency responders to. Hopefully the caller has the ability to tell them where they're at, but if not, that's going to be an issue. Roaming between cellular and Wi-Fi isn't currently there. There's no way to seamlessly hand off from a Wi-Fi call to a cellular or vice versa. Hopefully that'll come in the future, but right now there's no way to support that. And then the last concern we have, or maybe this isn't really a concern, but kind of an assumption, is that the femtocell, which were the small devices that the carriers would sell or provide to end users who had very low or poor cellular performance at their location, will potentially go away because now we've got Wi-Fi calling. Wi-Fi basically creates a picocell for the cellular call to go over Wi-Fi. So we'll potentially see the end of these devices. Although we have concerns about Wi-Fi calling over wireless networks, there are some benefits to the technology or the feature. One of them is that all the calls and texts that go over the Wi-Fi network don't count against your cellular or data plan on your mobile phone. Obviously they'll go against your data limit or your potentially cap on your internet service for your home, but you're not going to go against your plan's text messaging or minutes or data plan. Another benefit is that if you live in an area where you potentially had or historically have had poor cellular performance, if you've got a good internet connection at your home and you've got a good Wi-Fi network, your calls could potentially improve. This happens to be my case. We've had bad cellular reception in our home, and now that we've got Wi-Fi calling enabled on my wife's Samsung phone, I actually notice that her calls are much clearer and they're more consistent, and we don't have issues with dropped calls. I need to upgrade my phone to get to one that's Wi-Fi calling enabled so I can enjoy the same. And then the last is, if you're traveling internationally and you've had challenges with roaming with your carrier plan, international travel could potentially get a little cheaper as far as your mobile phone goes. Some of the carriers have enabled Wi-Fi calling even when you're international. So if you're on a good Wi-Fi system in a business or a hotel or a school campus or a resort, your calls can go over the Wi-Fi calling as well as your text, and you're not having to pay some sort of international package from your mobile phone carrier. Well, that's it for Wi-Fi calling over your wireless network. Today we talked about what it is, the concerns that we have with it, and then what benefits do we gain from it. So hopefully this has got you thinking about what you're going to need to do to your network to make this new feature or service work for you. Stay tuned. In part 2 of this whiteboard series, we're going to be talking about what changes or what features you're going to need to have on your network to make this work. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.